What's up, everybody? You are now tuning into From the East Side with Love. As always, it's your boy Kosher. I might just go by Mo now. We're trying to figure out some things to figure out Kosher, Mo. Y'all let me know in the comments. Check out the Twitter at Kosher FTESWL or the X From the East Side with Love underscore into each word on the IG. TikTok is Kosher FTESWL, and at YouTube From the East Side with Love 562. As always, guys, if you like the content, please share it, please like, please subscribe. This helps me get into the algorithm. This helps me do what I love to do. So I appreciate all the support and love that y'all been showing me, especially over the last recent weeks. Got a huge boost because of the Canelo versus Crawford fight and a couple of the other things that I've been doing on social media. So again, can't do this without the fans, so I appreciate y'all. Today we have a special uh, episode because we're going to talk about UFC 320. It's a card that I've personally been excited about since it's been named and debuted. It's Ankalaev versus Pereira 2. It's a rematch. That's going to be the main event. But I do want to talk about basically the card itself, the top three fights, which is Ankalaev versus Pereira, the rematch, Marab versus Corey Sandhagen, and Yuri Prochaska versus Khalil Roundtree. Now, to me, I know you guys may not all be UFC fans, but this is going to be catered to the MMA fans. So let's still tune in to support, okay? So let's get into it. The Ankalaev versus Pereira 2 card. We're going to start off on the bottom. We're going to go with the Khalil Roundtree. If you guys can see this, Khalil Roundtree versus Yuri Prochaska. Yuri is 32, Khalil is 35. Yuri is 6'2", height for Khalil is 6'1". They're both 205. Yuri has a 3.5-inch reach advantage, okay? At 80 inches, Khalil has 76.5. Then we're going to go to the Marab versus Corey Sandhagen. Marab is 34, Corey is 33. Marab is 5'5", Corey Sandhagen is 5'9". That's a 4-inch height advantage for Corey, both at 135. And Corey has a 2-inch reach advantage in favor of Corey for 70 inches to 68. Then we'll go into the light heavyweight rematch. Pereira at 38 years old, Ankalaev 33. Ankalaev is 6'2", Pereira is 6'3". This is a 1-inch height advantage for Pereira, both 205. Ankalaev has a 4-inch reach advantage at 75 inches, and Alex Pereira has a 79-inch reach advantage of 4 inches. It's a lot of information, but I'm going to break it down, give you some of the odds that I'm thinking about right now. But these fights, especially the Corey Sandhagen and the Khalil Roundtree fight, I want you to pay attention to those two in particular because I think these two fighters, Corey Sandhagen and Khalil Roundtree, have implications not only for, Corey's already going for a title, but Khalil Roundtree could put himself right back into the mix of contendership against whoever wins against Ankalaev and Pereira. But the bigger thing that I want to also say is we have a White House card that's going to happen next summer, and these are two American, could be superstars, but at least stars right now, who we may see featured to help represent an American side if they choose to do an American, I don't know, superstar cast. We have fighters like Kayla Harrison, Khalil Roundtree, Corey Sandhagen, John Jones. These are your top elite American fighters that can help represent America and show them on a good side, especially for a White House card, which I think is going to be around Independence Day So these are things that you should look out for, because I believe that if these guys, Corey Sandhagen could be a champion, if Roundtree can win this fight, put himself back into a contendership, again, a championship match. These are Those are two fighters who I believe can represent America really well. A Max Holloway could be another person who could help represent America. So again, five fighters. John Jones. If John, I know what Dana's been saying, but again, he's the GOAT for a reason. We got to be honest with that. Kayla Harrison, Corey Sandhagen, especially if he wins, because then he'll be the champion. Khalil Roundtree. So those are names that I want you to look out for. Now, as we move on, we're going to look at what the UFC website has. So here's a matchup right now. Yuri is 31, 5-1 record, and Roundtree is 15, 6-0, 6 losses. They both won their last fight. Again, I've spoken about the leg reach. Well, I haven't spoken about the leg reach, but we're not gonna get into that. Yuri has an 87 KO knockout percentage versus Cahill, which is 67%. Yuri has a sub. Decision goes to Roundtree. Average fight time is 10:47 for Yuri, 9:32 for Roundtree, and a knockdown average of 1.3 for Roundtree and a 0.79 for Yuri. For the bantamweight title fight, record for Merab is 20-4. For Corey Sandhagen, it's 18-5. They both won the last fight. Again, I've spoken about their reach and weight. Now, Corey has a 44% KO slash TKO for his fights. Merab has a 15%. Sub is 10% for Merab, 17% for Corey. Merab usually wins by decision by 75%, Corey 39%. Average fight time is 16 minutes for Merab, 14 minutes for Corey Sandhagen. And the knockdown average is 0.06 for Merab and 0.29 for Corey. And if we go into the main event, 21-1 for Ankalaev versus 12-3 for Pereira. Ankalaev won his last fight. Pereira has lost his last fight. Now, here's the thing about this fight right here, guys. This fight, they haven't fought since they last fought each other. So Pereira was a champion. He lost against Ankalaev. So it literally is a rematch. Can Pereira, he kind of got outstruck last fight. So what will he be able to do to switch it up? This is my issue with Pereira. He's 38 years old. That's old. Now, yes, with modern genetics and health and all that science and all that, he's still young in a sense, but he's an old fighter, and there's a lot of wear and tear. But if he puts his hands on you, and you can see the stats right here, 83% of his wins come by KO. 52% of Ankalaev's wins come by KO. 48 come by decision for Ankalaev. 17% come for decision by Pereira. Pereira, when he fights, he knocks you out. Ankalaev has a mixed bag of both. He can either knock you out or he could go through the decision. I'm not saying Pereira shouldn't rely on his hands, okay? I do believe Pereira should definitely rely on his hands, but he has to pay attention to Ankalaev's wrestling and grappling. I think that's going to be the key of the match. Last time, Ankalaev brought it to him in the striking and kind of just stayed in Pereira's face, and he couldn't necessarily get off the way he wanted to. But I think Ankalaev now is going to wrestle to keep the belt. And Ankalaev has the confidence to win and stay a champion. I, I want to look at the odds real quick before we finish this episode. So if we look, Ankalaev was a negative 220 or 210 versus Pereira at plus 160. We have that's the light heavyweight title match. Bantamweight title matches from Rob is a negative 380 with a plus 260 for Corey. And then the light heavyweights contenders, negative 180 for Yuri versus a plus 150 for Cahill. I have an upset pick, okay, guys? The upset pick for my 320 matchup card is actually going to be Cahill Roundtree beating Yuri by knockout. And look, this is going to be exactly the opposite of why I think Pereira may lose. Because if you look right here at the Pereira versus Ankalaev, Pereira is 38 years old, Ankalaev is 33. Now, if we go to Cahill Roundtree is 35, Yuri is 32. Not only does Yuri have the reach advantage, he also has the youth advantage. In the main event, Alex has the reach advantage, but he doesn't have the age advantage. So, even though, see, I think it's a hindrance for Alex because he's older by 5 years, okay? Even though he has the reach advantage and the power, I do think that he is getting a little bit longer to tooth. Still a formidable opponent and athlete, but if he doesn't win this fight, I wonder if he goes to heavyweight. So that's another prediction I have. I do believe that if Alex Pereira loses this match, he goes to heavyweight. He's already done everything that he's done in light heavy. There's nothing else for him to prove. I don't know if they're gonna give him a third fight against Ankalaev. He might as well go to heavyweight. We already know John Jones wants to fight him. I'm sure Tom Aspinall or Cyril Gahn, which that fight is coming up, I'm sure they would love to fight him. So look for that opportunity for Alex. Since he's a little bit older, he won't have to cut as much weight, if any weight, to fight at heavyweight. That is a prediction. But with the Cahill Roundtree fight, I believe Cahill will get inside. And this is the thing that scares me about Yuri. He likes to fight with his hands down. And if you guys already know, that's how he got caught. That's how he got caught by Alex Pereira. And you know what Mark Jackson says? Hand down, man down. So my upset pick for UFC 320 is Cahill Roundtree by knockout against Yuri. Now, if for whatever reason Yuri were to keep his hands up, he does have a great style to mix it up with Cahill Roundtree. But if he doesn't keep his hands up, I believe it's going to be night-night for Yuri. And for the bantamweight title fight, for Merab versus Corey, I like Corey. I believe that he has the intangibles, but I think Merab has literally gone against killers. He went against Umar, Sean O'Malley, and I believe Sean O'Malley kind of set him up to go against Corey Sandhagen, a tall, lanky fighter with striking. And I believe Sean O'Malley is just a little bit better than Corey Sandhagen. At least the first time they fought. Maybe not the second time in the rematch, because obviously Merab won that, finished it off. But I believe Merab, with the championship right now, is just ultimately confident. And it's going to be hard for Corey. Now, unless he gets a flash KO, I don't think Merab is losing this fight. So For me, guys, I'm going with majority of the odd makers. I have Ankalaev winning. I wouldn't say no. I think it will be a competitive fight, but I do think that Pereira is going to have issues keeping the grappling off of him. I have um, Marab winning a decision against Corey Sandhagen. And then I also have Cahill Roundtree with an upset pick for the night against Yuri because I believe Yuri is going to keep his hands down. So I would love to hear your guys' picks for UFC 320. Love for you guys to get in the comments if you guys agree or disagree, or if there's any other fights that I should, speak about on this card. Any other fights that you guys want me to look out, I could definitely do in a post-fight interview, post-fight episode, post-card episode. But anyway, guys, as always, check out the X and the TikTok, Kosher FTESWL, the IG from the East Side with Love _ under each word. On YouTube from the East Side with Love 562. Thank y'all for supporting the channel. Please like and subscribe. Everybody stay blessed, stay positive. We out. Peace.